Hey everyone, Taylor here, the Modern Core Gamer, and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to be showing you a full tutorial on how to hack or soft mod your Nintendo Wii. There is a plethora of reasons as to why you would want to soft mod your Wii, but in this video I will go over just a few, one being the reason why I wanted to do it in the first place. The topics I'll cover in this video will be installing the Homebrew channel, making a backup of your Wii's memory in case of a console brick, downloading apps with the Open Shop channel, backup and play Wii and GameCube games from USB, play games online with Wiimmfi, install RiiConnect 24, a WiiConnect 24 replacement giving you access to the news, Forcast, Nintendo, and Everybody Votes channels. In addition to your standard Wii console, you're going to need an SD card and USB drive, at least 16 gigabytes. The SD card will be used to store the Homebrew apps along with the NAND backup. The USB drive will be used to store your backup games. Finally, you're going to need a computer with Windows 10 and internet access. Linked in the description are all the files you will need to put onto your SD card, so download these now so that way you won't have to keep coming back and forth to your PC and Wii. Plug your SD card and USB drive into your computer. You will have to format both of these to the FAT32 file system. If your SD card or USB drive is larger than 32 gigabytes, you will have to download GUI format, also linked in the description, in order to format it to FAT32. If your SD card or USB drive is 32 gigabytes or less, Windows will be able to format it without the need of another program. Along with this, you will also need an archive program such as 7-Zip or WinRAR. Right now we're going to focus on the SD card. Once it is formatted to FAT32, open it up. Then on the root of the SD card, you're going to need to make a folder named Apps. Open that folder up and find where you downloaded the rest of the files that are linked in the description. First open up Priiloader and copy all the files into the Apps folder on your SD card. Then open the Homebrew_browser file and copy the files to your SD card. Do the same thing with the D2X cIOS installer, Nintendont, and USBLoaderGX archives. When done, this is what your file structure should look like. On the root of the SD card should be a folder called Apps in lowercase. Then inside that folder should be D2X cIOS installer, Homebrew_browser, Nintendont, Priiloader, and USBLoader_GX. Now that you have all of those files on your SD card, we can move over to the Wii, but we still have to move back to the PC later on. Eject the SD card and USB drive from your computer and insert the SD card into the front of your Wii, and the USB drive into the bottom of the USB slot if the Wii is laying down, or the right slot if the Wii is standing up, on the back of the Wii. On the Wii, go to the Wii Options menu and click Wii Settings. When you get into Wii Settings, take note of the version number, located in the top right hand corner. You need to make sure that the version is 4.3. The letter at the end just represents what region your Wii is manufactured to work in. It could be U, E, J, or K. If you are not on version 4.3, go to the last page and do a system update. Go to the second page and click on Internet. Then click Connection Settings. Then click on the connection you're currently using. Then you will need to click Change Settings. Once this menu opens, press the plus button on the Wii Remote a few times to go to the Auto Obtain DNS Settings page. Click No, then click Advanced Settings. You are then going to want to change the primary DNS to 97.74.103.14 and the secondary DNS to 173.201.71.14. Then click Confirm and Save. The Wii will then perform a connection test, so let it finish. Once it's done, it will prompt you for a system update. Click No. Now click the back button until you are on the main Internet settings screen. Then click User Agreements. Then click Yes. Now click Next. The Wii is connecting to the internet to download the latest end-user license agreement. but since we have changed the DNS settings, it will connect to a different page that contains the exploit. If the exploit worked, you will see a black screen with lines of text. This means that the system is downloading the Mii installer over the network and beginning to load it. This will take a couple of seconds, but when you see this glitchy looking screen, everything has worked correctly. The next screen to appear will be the disclaimer for the Mii installer. Wait a few more seconds, and when it says press 1 on the controller, do so, and you will load into the Mii installer. This is where we will install the Homebrew channel and bootMii. But before pressing continue, take note of the results on this screen. The Homebrew channel will say can be installed, but bootMii will say either can be installed or can only be installed as an iOS. Let me explain the difference. If you install bootMii as boot 2, it means that it can be accessed before the system menu loads, meaning that if you accidentally break your console, you can load bootMii to restore from a backup. Installing bootMii as an iOS means that bootMii will have to be launched from the Homebrew channel. But when we install Priiloader, which we'll do in just a minute, it will provide another recovery method. If you are able to, it's highly recommended to install bootMii as both boot 2 and iOS, but this will only be available if you have an older hardware revision. I bought my Wii at launch, so I'm able to install both. Now with your Wii remote in hand, press the A button to click continue. Then using the D-pad, press up to highlight install the Homebrew channel. Then press A, and press A again on yes to continue, and the channel will install. Once it says success, press A to continue. Then you will be brought back to the main menu. Scroll down to the bootMii option. Again, if it gives you the option to install as an iOS and boot 2, do so. Once it finishes, click exit and you will be taken to the Homebrew channel. In this section, we're going to make a backup of the Wii's NAND storage. If you should brick your console, this can be used to restore the console to a working state. I personally have never experienced a console brick, but it is very likely that it will happen, and this is a good precaution to have. While on the Homebrew channel, press the home button on your Wii remote and select Launch bootMii. Now at this point you will have to use the power and reset buttons on the Wii to navigate this menu. Press the power button to go to the icon with the cogs, and then press the reset button. Next, press the reset button with the icon showing an SD card and green arrow. bootMii will now proceed to make a NAND backup on your SD card, so you need to leave the console alone until it's done. And if you see a bunch of bad blocks, don't worry because that's normal. Once it's done backing up, it will then verify the backup. Again, just let it run, and once it's finished, press either the power button or the reset button, it doesn't really matter which, to go back to the bootMii menu. If you should break your console and need to restore your NAND backup, you will want to choose the icon with the red arrow. Press the power button to get to the icon with the black arrow, and then press the reset button. Now press the home button once more to navigate to the icon that says the Homebrew channel, and press the reset button again. Installing Priiloader will give you another layer of protection in case of a console break. Priiloader will load before the system menu. This will be especially useful in case you did not have the option to install bootMii as boot 2. Launch Priiloader. When the screen appears, press the plus button on the Wii remote to install Priiloader. When it is through installing, press the A button to exit. Now you want to power off your Wii. To do this, hit the home button and select exit the system menu. Then turn off the Wii normally. To launch Priiloader, power on your Wii, then immediately hold the reset button. Should you brick your Wii, this menu will appear and allow you to launch into bootMii iOS to restore the backup that you made. There's also some useful features under the System Menu Hacks option. You can use the D-pad to navigate through this menu. Inside the System Menu Hacks option, you have options such as disable region locking and moving the disk channel. If you don't know what all these options do, there will also be a link in the description that will describe all of these options. To get back to the main screen, navigate to Save Settings option at the bottom and press it, and then press the B button. Then on the main menu, launch the Homebrew channel. Now, you have several layers of protection in case of a console brick. This step will show you how to actually download and update applications in the Homebrew channel. Launch the Homebrew browser and navigate to the Utilities tab in the top right. In this menu, hold the B button on the Wii remote to scroll down through all of these apps. If you see an application with a yellow question mark, it means that the application has an update. Click it, and then click Update at the bottom. The Homebrew browser will then download the latest version of that application and install it. You can also search through the Homebrew browser to find several different types of apps that can be installed on your Wii. Now we will install a few custom iOS versions, which is required in order for USBLoaderGX to work properly and back up your games. From the Homebrew channel, launch D2X cIOS installer. Once it loads, press any button. In order to change these settings, you will need to push right on the D-pad. In the first option, you need to change to V10 Beta 52. Press right again and change the base to 56. Then move down to the cIOS slot and change it to 249. Finally, change the cIOS revision to 65535. Press A and then A again to install. Once installed, press A again and you will be at the configuration screen. There is one more custom iOS to install. Change the cIOS to V10 Beta 52. Change the base to 57, the slot to 250, and the revision to 65535. Then press A twice. When finished installing, you can press the B button to exit back to the Homebrew channel. Once we have all of that done, you can finally launch USBLoaderGX. Once it loads, it will look similar to the Wii menu. This program is very easy to use. To copy a game to your USB drive, insert a game into the Wii, or you can press the plus button in the lower left. Next, press Install and then Yes. The program will recognize the game and ask if you want to install it. Select OK. The game will then begin to copy to your USB drive. When it's finished, it won't initially show up on screen, so you need to click on the Sources button, the fourth button from the left at the top, then select Wii Games. While you're here, you can uncheck NAND channels and EMU NAND channels if you don't want to see the Wii channels in this list. Then press OK. If you click on the box cover, you can download cover art, and then if you want to launch the game, all you have to do is click on it. It's pretty simple. That was it just for Wii games. Since we installed Nintendont, though, we can now back up and play GameCube games from the USB. But first, we'll need to change some settings. Click on the Settings button in the lower left. Next, choose Loader Settings. Scroll down until you see GameCube Settings. Make sure the source is set to Auto and the mode is set to Nintendont. If you're going to use a physical GameCube memory card, you will need to change the setting Memory Card Emulation to Off. If you're not going to be using a physical memory card, just leave it enabled. Then go back to the Settings menu and scroll over to the second page labeled Custom Paths. Scroll down until you find Nintendont Loader Path. You want to make sure that this path points to the location of Nintendont on your SD card. Mine is SD:/apps/Nintendont. Next, you'll need to find main GameCube path and make sure it is using the correct device. If you need to change it, you can click on the path and change it with the file browser. Once you're done, you can insert a GameCube disc and back it up to your USB drive. This time there will be an additional prompt asking you where you would like to save the game. Select Main Path. Just like with Wii games, you can download cover art and launch the games from here. If your GameCube games aren't showing up, Click the Sources button again and select GameCube games. Now you can back up all of your GameCube and Wii games as long as you have enough drive space. You can see how much drive space you have left, plus the number of games you have stored in your drive on the main menu of USBLoaderGX. This is the actual reason why I wanted to softmod my Wii. Once I found out you were able to back up and play Wii games and GameCube games, I thought, that's pretty neat, I should do that with my collection. Next, I'm going to be able to show you how to play online with Wiimmfi. Note, this will only work with games you have copied to your USB drive. You cannot use this feature with the disk menu. Go back into the settings menu and click Loader Settings. Then scroll down until you see Private Server. Click it until it says Wiimmfi.de. Now you're done. You can go online with multiplayer games just like you could back in 2014. If you go to the Wiimmfi website, which will be linked in the description, you'll be able to see a list of games that are supported. In this section, we're going to re-enable the Forcast, News, Check Mii Out, Everybody Votes, Nintendo Channel, and the Mail service. Enabling RiiConnect 24 provides an alternate server that all these channels will be able to use. Remember earlier I told you that we would need to go back to the PC at some point. Well, this is when we need to go back to the PC. Remove your SD card from your Wii and insert it into your PC. I want to make a note here. I didn't know this at the time, but my computer already had this installed, but I'm showing you how to do it anyway. On your PC, you will need to open the Start menu and search for Windows features. Then select Turn Windows features on or off. In the next window that opens, select .NET Framework 3.5. Then select OK. Then select Let Windows update downloaded files for you. Once finished, you will need to restart your PC. You'll also remember that I asked you to download a bunch of files before we started. Well, now we can use the last one. It's a batch file. Launch the batch file on your PC, and when it opens, press 1. On the next page, press 1 again for the Wii console. This is the option that we're going to patch. Then press 1 again and select Install RiiConnect 24. Press 1 again to select the Express option. On this next screen, you have to choose your console's region. Note, if your console is Japanese or Korean, the Everybody Votes, Nintendo Channel, Check Mii Out, and a majority of the other channels won't actually work, so it doesn't really matter what you pick if that's your console. But mine is an American, so I'll press 2. On this next screen, it will ask if you'd like to have the patcher automatically copy the files to your SD card. I decided to do this, so for me, I press 1. Next, the patcher will say it's found your SD card, but you need to make sure that it's the right drive letter. If it's wrong, press 3 and you'll be able to change it. To double check which drive letter your SD card is, open this PC and verify what letter it's using. Once everything is correct, go back to the patcher and press 1 to start patching. Now it will download all the files it needs to patch and copy them over to your SD card. Don't worry about any files that appear on your desktop or wherever you downloaded this file. These are temporary. When finished, press the 3 button. When finished, press 3 to close the patcher and clean up any temporary files. Now you will see a WAD and an apps folder wherever you downloaded the batch file. If you did not have the patcher copy the files for you, you will need to do that now by dragging and dropping the files to the SD card and selecting yes to any merge prompts. Now you can remove your SD card from your PC and insert it back into your Wii. Launch the Homebrew channel and you should see two new apps, Wiimod Lite and the RiiConnect 24 Mail Patcher. Launch Wiimod Lite. Once it's loaded, navigate to the WAD manager and select the location of the files, for example the SD card, and press A. Then scroll down to the iOS 31 option and press A twice. Once it installs, do the same thing for the iOS 80 option and then for the 3 channel WADs. When installed, you can exit back to the Homebrew channel. Then launch RiiConnect 24 Mail Patcher. The patch will run automatically and does not take a lot of time. When you see the option to press the home button, do so and you will exit back to the Homebrew channel. Next, press the home button on your Wii to get back to the main Wii menu. Then click Settings. Once there, scroll over to Internet, then Connection Settings. Then whatever connection you're currently using, click Change Settings. Then go back to Auto Obtain DNS Settings. Select Change Settings and change the primary DNS to 164.132.44.106 and the secondary DNS to either Google or Cloudflare's. Google is 8.8.8.8 and Cloudflare's is 1.1.1.1. Then click Confirm and do a connection test. Once the connection test is done, go back to the second page of the settings menu and select RiiConnect 24. Select On in the first page. Do the same thing with standby connection. Select On. Slot illumination can be set to whatever you would like it to be. Then go back a couple of pages to the Internet settings menu and select the user agreements and select Yes. The EULA will load and you can read through it. Then click Accept, then OK. That's it. Now you have a full hacked soft-modded Wii. Congratulations. I told you this is a very simple tutorial. If you liked this video, please drop a like. If you didn't, that other button seems to work pretty well. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for a plethora of gaming related content and tutorials. I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.